What is going on, guys? It's Reflex here, and with time winding down for the ReMiND DLC, and I gotta say, like, just more and more I think about it and see tweets about it, I get more and more excited. But we haven't seen any, like, Famitsu articles, or really just any articles in general about the length of this DLC, at least that I know of. But I've seen a lot of debate on whether it's going to be 10 hours, 5 hours, or whether it's even going to be that. And that's actually a good question that I wanted to bring to you guys and kind of a discussion. How long do you want this DLC to be? Because obviously we're going to have, there's like the actual episode, the ReMiND DLC part, then there's the limit cut part and the bosses, this data fights and all that, plus the free DLC part, which is the main, like, just update the story, I would say, probably with the Keyblade Graveyard and stuff like that, maybe extra cutscenes that have to do with that. But for the actual DLC, minus like the extra fights that don't really matter, I'm talking about the post, I would say, KH3 ending. How long do we exactly want that to be? Do we want it to only be a couple hours? And I guess you can kind of include gameplay and story into this, but how long are we wanting it to be? Because me personally, how I want it to be, at least 5 hours, at least, for gameplay and all. Now, I've seen some people say it needs, for the price, it needs to be at least 10 to 15. I'm like, that's kind of pushing it for today's era of just how DLC is done. Like, I mean, back then you could get a $30 DLC expansion, it'll be 40 hours worth of content. I think The Witcher did something like that, but I don't play The Witcher. I've been told every single time I go to play it that they're like, yeah, you might want to sit down for this one, and you know, because you're going to be in it for the long haul. So I don't think it's going to be up to that magnitude, but I would definitely think 5 hours would be at minimum what I would want. 15 I think would be amazing, but I don't think they'll hit that. But I have seen some people say that they don't even think it will hit 5 hours, like maybe 3 hours, 2 hours, which I think that's a little light. But how I want to see it, as I said in the Kairi video, I do want to see some Kairi scenes, like more. I want to see more Kairi than almost anyone else, because that was the whole kind of, the way it ended was with Sora pretty much risking his life to save Kairi. I want to see that actually fully fleshed out. I want to see the consequence of Sora using the power that not only Yen said and Mickey, they didn't explain to him exactly what this power was, but they told him time and time again, like, don't be stupid. Like, don't use, even young Xehanort was like, yeah, don't be dumb. Don't be using it like this. Like, he kept telling him, and yet he had to save Kairi, which makes sense. I mean, I would have probably did the exact same thing, to be quite honest. But I want to see that in cutscene form. All this, maybe he has to fight a boss or something. I don't know exactly how it will go, but I do want to see that fully fleshed out with just the interaction of Sora saving Kairi, them just kind of coming together and being happy. That holding hands part, Kairi says, is so pretty. They have a moment, and then the consequence strikes when Sora realizes and has this whole, maybe when he's with Kairi, it'll like fade to black real quick. And that's when Chirithy, and maybe he'll get flashbacks of what a young Xehanort said, and then Chirithy will spew her piece about how your being isn't going to be able to be in this world anymore, which I think that would be cool. Kairi will be dealt with the whole feeling as if she failed. Maybe she'll be like, I'm tired of being saved, and then that'll propel her arc for the next story. I'm not saying, like I said in that video, like, I don't want her to be a fighter, but I do want her to have a more propelling arc rather than the damsel in distress that she has been. Now, besides that, the whole Yozora thing, oh, that, I want that to hit so hard. Not only do I want to see them interact, I want to see a boss fight between them. I want to hear Somnus, but in KH3, kind of how they did it in the secret ending, because everyone knew that was Somnus, how it is in Final Fantasy Versus 13 or even Final Fantasy 15, but it had that little twist at it, so it wasn't exactly Somnus, but it was very heavily like, yeah, you know where this is from, you know where it's taking place and all this. So I think it'd be cool if you hear that, like a rendition of that as a boss fight, have them interact, and maybe kind of just propel you, because you know that's how KH3 always does. I can hear my cat scratching the door. They want in. I can't let you, because they will start yelling. For some reason, when I record videos, they like try to talk too. It's really weird, but it's kind of cute though. But besides that, see, they distract me. That's why I can't allow them in here. But normally the way Kingdom Hearts games goes is the secret ending as well as some secret bosses that they include in the final mix, or in this case, I guess the ReMiND DLC now, but it's pretty much the final mix. But the way they normally work is they set up the next game by either showing off obviously the secret movie that we saw in the base game, or they show off a boss that will be a pretty keen aspect of the next game. Like for instance, in Kingdom Hearts 1, we literally fought the final boss, which was Xemnas, and he was giving us that work, and I gotta admit, I really did enjoy that boss fight a lot. Like I really did. And then Kingdom Hearts 2, we had Lingering Will. What was it? Birth by Sleep, we had the mystery figure or whatever it's called. I only watched it. I've never actually faced that boss before, and it looks like an ass to face, mainly because of how Birth by Sleep plays. But that's normally how it works for Kingdom Hearts. So for Kingdom Hearts 3, if the secret boss is going to be like Yozora or just something like that, where they're introducing this character rather than in the toy box and the secret ending, they're actually introducing him, showing you his moveset and everything. I think that would be a perfect thing to set up the next game, because obviously where Riku is, I guess he might probably be gonna be bodying Riku, because I don't see Riku beating this Noctis 2.0, because this or I should say Yozora is saucy. I mean, I don't know, just when I first seen him, I thought the man was cool. I would like to play as him actually, because Nomura did state like long time ago that Kingdom Hearts would eventually maybe not have Sora not out of the story, but maybe he wouldn't be the main character, and I wouldn't mind Yozora taking his place one day. Like, he has to earn that right, obviously, but he's saucy. I like him, I really do. And if his arc hits good enough, oh yeah, I mean, hey, I will take it. But it all depends on how they do the next game, as well as this ReMiND DLC setting him up. But then you have this whole Riku arc in the ReMiND DLC that I feel like is going to take up a little bit, because obviously Riku is looking for Sora, and I feel like they could flesh that out a little bit more, talking to obviously our Final Fantasy characters, which was a cool enough part, but they could flesh that out of him interacting with them, talking to Naminé, seeing if she could figure out anything. And then, I mean, really, it's all in the air from there, because that's all we saw. But from that alone, I feel like all that combined has to at least be 5 hours, honestly. Like, 2 hours for Sora and Yozora, 2 hours for Kairi and Sora, and then 1 hour for Riku looking for Sora. I really think that is a good enough basis for what we can expect in this DLC. Now, if it's longer, then obviously we can expect more. But for the ReMiND DLC, like this episode part alone, I feel like it has to be at least 5 hours. Now, if you add in the whole limit cut boss fights with, you know, the Keyblade War and all that, using everyone else, you add in whatever extra cutscenes they add into the free part of this DLC, that's just an update to the base game, that will add on a little bit more as well. And I mean, I feel like total this game can be at least, I don't know, 10 hours maybe of like total stuff. But for the episode alone, I think 5 is at minimum. I will actually be disappointed if it's anything less, because 30 bucks is awfully pricey for, I mean, it's better than paying for the base game again, obviously, like how it used to be in the past. But 30 bucks for this, I don't know, because I'm not meaning to compare Final Fantasy 15, because obviously that game was unfinished. The stuff that was in there should have been in the base game in general. But regardless, it had a season pass. You got 3 episodes, and I think for some reason I got episode Arden. I don't even think I was supposed to get that in that pack anyways. But you got episode Gladio, Prompto, Ignis, and Arden, all for 30 bucks. And they were pretty hefty DLCs, and I thought they were pretty dope. I think they were all really good. Ignis was the best. I thought that was probably the best DLC in that pack. And if Kingdom Hearts, I realize that he's not doing it this way, the season pass way, but it's still $30. I heard a lot of people complaining about it, so I want everyone to get what they pay for. So I feel like 5 hours is minimum, and that's like barely breaking even of what you're paying for. I feel like it should be 10, but 5 hours is like, okay, it's not a complete waste of money. So I feel like that's the basis that they should be. But let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think the length of this DLC is. What do you think is a good enough length for the price? And then also, what do you think, however long you have this length being, what do you think will be the story arcs that we'll see inside of this like time span? Do you think there'll be a lot of Riku? Do you think there'll be a whole big interaction between Sora and Kairi? How long do you think this Yozora arc will work in the ReMiND DLC? Just let me know your thoughts down below. But if you guys did enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe, and you guys know the drill. I will see you guys later.